Hey everybody, we're the Splitter Twins. I'm Mark, that's Kyle, and it's time for our favorite video of the season, those spicy previews. I am so goddamn excited for this set, Kyle. Ooh, so excited.
Woo! Especially after the set that was Ether Drift. And speaking of that, stick around. This is not a regular YouTube video where we just talk shit about what cards are going to be best. No. At the end, Mark and I are going to be holding each other accountable, and we are going to grade our picks from Ether Drift to see how we did, so that you know our picks for Tarkir Dragonstorm are accurate.
My number 5 card is always my favorite little reserve for an uncommon. Kyle, do you like drawing cards?
I do like drawing cards.
Do you like it when those cards that you draw, they go into your hand, and the ones you don't like go into your graveyard for possible later shenanigans? Can I interest you in a bargain, perhaps? A Rakshasa bargain? This card is cracked. I missed stock up last time, but I will not make that mistake twice. This card is dumb, Kyle. It's dumb. It's a dumb little value engine here. It is doing all the things you want it to. With our stupid mana base at this point in Mega Standard, this is not a hard costing cast to even pop off on turn 3, but you don't want to play this on turn 3. You want to play this right before you do your reanimator nonsense, or right when you need that big fill up, because unlike stock up, this little dig through time is instant speed. We're holding up 3 steps ahead. We're just going to say, oh, you don't like that? This is old school draw go magic. I freaking love this card. And just in case that wasn't enough, you get a little bit color screwed, that's just going to cost you 1 extra mana.
This 3-color control is back on the menu, boys.
One final thought. This card does trigger beans. With that screwy mana cost up there at the top, this will trigger up the beanstalk, which also just immediately says, come on, roll around in this Overlord deck. It's got a spot. It's got a home. Cracked.
Okay, I did save my 5 spot for something that I don't know if you obviously went a different way with your number 5.
The caveats
but mine
are worrying me.
It's, if this card is busted, it's going to be great. But I could definitely see it not doing something. But Corey Steelcutter is a busted magic card.
Yeah.
1 in a red artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample and haste, keywords.
We have Ember
Flurry,
Queen at home, Kyle.
Flurry, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you create a 1/1 monk with prowess, and you can attach this equipment to it.
And
if you can't equip it, it's 1 and a red. The snap of this is the thing that does it, and the fact that this just sets on the battlefield and just it's an army in a can for something that wherever this goes. If this is Boros, if this is Jeskai, where you want to be casting a bunch of spells to pump out a bunch of dorks and giving them haste and trample, and then just it combos so well with the prowess tokens. You want to be just considering, you want to be discarding and, exile drawing and all that kind of stuff. And then, okay, they sweep the board. All right, well, here we go again. Making an equipment makes it really, really hard to deal with, as opposed to something like when, Monastery Veteran or Mentor came back, it just died to Doomblade a lot. This is an army in a can that just sits in the battle space and is really, really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I really like this card a lot for exactly the thing you said. It is that snap ability that I think that makes it special. I think equipments are often a trap for a lot of different reasons. The equip cost.
This is barely an equipment.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self-snapping aura on a thing you don't mind getting destroyed. I think it's generically a powerful card, which is good. We'll have to see if Mardu tokens is a real deck, though that mobilize shit looks pretty hot. So maybe this slot's in there. Or Jeskai Prowess, maybe that's gonna pop off and do a thing. People are doing that. This could be a thing, but in this massive standard, I do still worry that this equipment is just a little too slow, right? Like, is this really what you want to do on turn 2?
I think, like, quote unquote Jeskai aggro is a trap. Like, you don't want to be casting like a Mantis Rider or something these days with hard mana, but because so often in this aggro Jeskai control, the balance is having creatures and then being able to trigger prowess. Well, like, this is something that you can put on the battle space and then just jam your deck full of other cards.
Yeah.
Burn spells, bounce spells, whatever you want. And you get your creatures from this thing, as opposed to relying on some creature that's going to hit the battlefield and then probably eat removal in this standard.
Or a sweeper, worst case scenario for those, like you were saying, those Mentor decks just blah. Oh, Kyle. Oh, my twin brother, as a matter of fact. That's an interesting thing. Are you Ugin or are you Nicol Bolas? What's our relationship? What's the dynamic here?
I feel like I'm Ugin. I
Yeah,
think you got a
dude.
lot of Nicol Bolas energy going
I
on.
honestly, we'll talk about the story later, but I could give a shit. So I don't really know that much about Nicol Bolas, but I do know about 7-mana Ugins. And oh no, hold on,
Oh,
Kyle, here we go again. If you're looking at that 7 and you're saying seven's too much, then you obviously don't know what 2020 Magic Standard or core set was, because oh goodness, did that Ugin wreck people? Now the big difference between that Ugin and this Ugin is, I think, that middle ability, right? I will make sure we point out that nasty sweeper, everything's gonna go Ugin ability on the previous one, that really did a lot of work to make that card just a game ender, because it just reset not only aggro decks, but because it wiped out enchantments and artifacts and everything else, mid-range decks as well. Just sweep all that shit off the table. But this card is pretty nasty. Look at those passive abilities. Those are point blank, fire, fire, boom, boom, boom. You're just doing all kinds of nasties. Heaven, don't tell me it's hard to get to that ultimate. I know ultimates are often a trap, but we're not that far away. We're 2 turns
it's
away
two
from
turns.
that ultimate. I mean, like, this is happening. This card is dumb. Even if you ramp and cast it at 7, even if you're not necessarily playing it in some janky Dreamlord mono color, no colors deck, like, this card slaps. It's going to do a lot of work in a big top-end finisher control deck.
It's my number 1 card.
Oh, yeah? Well, you picked the wrong Planeswalker.
Yeah,
but we'll get there.
I'll just go ahead and reveal that now. This card is fucked up, Mark. This card is disgusting. And you talk about a mid-range deck and the old Ugin's ability. Ugin Eye of the Storm allows you to, control the battlefield, slap this bad boy down, immediately remove their biggest threat, ramp for 3 mana, and then potentially cast another colorless spell, and then remove something else.
Yeah.
And it's also not like, until this thing leaves the battlefield, nope, just gone. It's just gone now.
Target permanents, right? So say goodbye to your Beanstalk. Say goodbye to your Overlord that's sitting in the
so, like, obviously
you
you can abuse this with other colorless stuff going on, but, like, let's say you play Ugin Eye of the Storm for 7. They've got 2 creatures out, or a Beans and a whatever. This comes down, gets rid of that, you ramp, you go into the other one, you take the other thing, and then they untap and they, get lost this thing. Okay, you just 3-for-1 them.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm feeling pretty good about that. And that was the quote-unquote worst case scenario.
That's pretty good.
This card is disgusting. It draws you cards, it has an ultimate that absolutely wins the game, and it has a passive that is disgusting and works well with itself. This is everything you want in a high-end, top-level finisher.
Plus, collar. Pop those collars. Ugin's a Chad. Now we know.
He's doing it. You remember how I said I was taking a gamble with my number 4 or 5? Well, I'm also taking a gamble with my number 4.
I like it.
Next up is Herd Heirloom. It is 1 and a green artifact, and it is technically it's a 2-mana rock, because it says add 1 mana of any color, spin this to cast only creature spells. And that's pretty good, but that's not where the story ends. You can also tap this, and until end of turn, target creature with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage, draw a card.
Never heard of this in my life.
If this can't make green happen, Mark, if this can't make green happen, I don't know what to do.
This
is so powerful.
I don't think this is going to work in green.
It's got to. This is such a this is the definition of, like, I could have picked the 2-mana card that, like, it's the white 2/1 flash that, like, bounces a thing, because that obviously goes directly into a deck. But this is why I like this video, because I think this card has the chance to make a deck. It ramps you. Like, nobody in mid-range to big green wants to play, like, a 2-drop anyway. This ramps you. That's not a creature that's susceptible to board wipes. It gets you your mana fixing if you want to play different color big old boys, and it's also a potential to draw cards. Like, this is what this deck needs to happen, and if it doesn't, I'm giving up on green. Like, I will quit green.
You should quit it. I think this card kind of is a problem because it's not where green can be. So I guess with this card, we're just completely severing the idea of a mono green aggro deck, right? Like, we're just taking turn 2 off. Go ahead and forget about it. So we're talking about, like, a top end, finisher mid-range mono green.
I don't think this is ramping into Crater Hoof or anything, which also is going to be a busted card, potentially also in this deck. I'm talking about ramping into a 4-drop on turn 3. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where your deck is stacked with boys that must be like everything's a threat, stuff removes. Also, not for nothing, like there is a lot of Gruul Hasty potential here too, which could be important. I don't think this just has to be in mono green. It does color fix.
Target creature
There's a lot of
Valiant baby.
Yeah. Yeah. A mouse getting big with this, I don't think that's where it goes, but there, like I said, just there's a lot of power in this card, and I think it's got to make itself a space somewhere.
You could fire this off on a mouse post pump, right? Like that absolutely could work. You could make it happen that way. So I think, yeah, maybe this could go, but those decks don't want to slow down. I think like Aganosaur Rex is a really good card in this kind of like mid-range green deck because it's both a threat and a spell, right? Being able to have that together, and that card really didn't crack through. I just don't think this card can. I think it's too slow in current standard to make it happen. But trust me when I say that I want this card to happen. Rhino was like my first deck in Arena Standard, and I just, was drawing cards, doing the thing, and going. I wanted that to be a thing so bad. I love Stompy Green. It's where my heart is. I hope this card is good. I'm just not sure it's going to happen.
I'm also putting I'm hanging a lot of hope that like the color fixing is also important.
Number 3 card. It costs 2 mana, but it goes great with a number 3 card. Can I interest you in another Rakshasa? Perhaps, though, if I tell you it was Rot Cursed. Ooh, this card
I knew you were going to pick this.
Is subtly
That's why I cut it.
Nasty card.
I don't think it's subtle.
Yeah, it's maybe not. It's maybe not too subtle. The reason why is that decayed status on there, that does hurt, right? You look at this big boy and you're saying, what's the catch? And it's a hell of a catch, right? But here's the thing. It kind of does everything else that you want, right? We'll talk about the big combo here in a second, but I don't think it's that big a deal on turn 3 to swing with this boy because, like, we could potentially do 5 damage. I'll do 5 damage for 2 mana. Like, let's go. Or maybe I'll trade with one of your creatures. Let's go even harder because the graveyard is where I want you. This is where you need to live, Rot Cursed Rakshasa. You're going to get in there and just give everybody Decayed. That is just nasty. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's not necessarily a sweeper, right? And by turn 3 or 4, whenever you do this, right, Mono Red or Gruul has already killed you. Yeah, I'm not in love with that, but the secret tech on this Decayed thing is, Kyle, everyone's always thinking about tap sack at the end of the turn, but you can't block. Your blocking's no more. So if you're telling me this card, don't even worry about the oopsie doopsie, you're gonna die when you turn your card sideways. Just think of this renew ability as I'm gonna sink in some mana and remove all your blockers. That can end a game real quick, especially in this black mid-range deck. Demons, this curves in so nasty to Unholy
Hit the timer.
Annex.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's why I knew you had your eye on this card.
It's such a good card in that deck. I mean, like, that's a real deck. This is a real card that can go in that real deck, and we've been looking for a 2-mana play that can just turn your Unholy Annex immediately into a pinger. Like, let's absolutely go with this. This card is nasty.
Yeah, being able to right now in standard mana, you kind of you're priced into whether you're playing like the Bloodletter or the Archfiend, playing Unholy and then Demon and then go. Now your opponent has like 2 turns to save up the removal, which they're probably already saving for the turn 5 Demon. Being able to play a Demon on turn 2 into Unholy Annex before the trigger, so freaking nice.
Yeah.
So freaking nice.
Not a lot of removal, especially in the early game, can get this guy, right? Like, you're talking about exclusively some black and white stuff. This is immune to so much other removal, and it is...
And a lot of black removal.
And a lot
like,
of black removal.
You're not...
Virtue Persistence, nowhere to run.
Yeah, nowhere to running it. You're not cutting it down.
Yeah. So it's kind of, if you're playing black, it's go for the throat or, theoretically shoot the sheriff, but those are interchangeable a lot of the time. It's that or bust, right? And then for white, you've got a few options, but this card's good. It's really absolutely good. Getting home in Demons day 1, and we'll see how it does. This is potentially, I think, a bit of a significant upgrade for that deck.
Yeah, that card was my number 6. I cut it because I knew that the Unholy Annex
Grandma would be so mad how much I love these demons, Kyle.
I would like to point out my amazing self-control because I did obviously pick a 4 mana 2 and 2 red pip card because I have to.
Ooh,
That's just who
but
I
this
am
one
as a
might be
person.
good.
But this one is effed up, buddy, and there's probably something people aren't thinking about. It's Magmatic Hellkite.
Yeah.
It is a creature, it is a dragon, it has flying. It's a 4/5 for what that's worth, but the actual power is in the old text box here. It says, when this creature enters, destroy target non-basic land in opponent's control. Its controller searches their library for a basic land counter and puts a stun counter on that card, on that land. What?
Yeah, that can hurt.
Woof. So a couple things about that. One, just being able to blow up their mana fixing is dope. Two, I think we're gonna back when I picked Sunspire Links in Outlaws, I was all like, hey, mana bases are probably gonna get pretty greedy. Mana bases are about to get super greedy.
Yeah.
And not only can you potentially start punishing their fixing, but there are decks out there that are playing one basic of each color, and that is a problem, especially if they've milled it, especially if there's lots of ways to get around that. The other piece here is holy shit, in some formats, this is the most disgusting card to blink. You could stack your opponent out of the game with this thing.
Yeah.
While the 4/5 body just closes the clock. I love this dragon. It is a mean thing to do to somebody.
The only thing I can say is the Lynx is actually from Bloomberg, Kyle, not OTJ.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because everything else you said was spot on the money. I think this card is really good. It's really nasty. That stun counter hurts way more than you think. Whenever that thing pops down, it's going to just take away a land for a turn. That can be a huge problem for people. And, we've seen how many times, it's a bit of a meme, but people do get caught out with that Field of Ruin on their, basic, and they go oopsie doopsie. So the ceiling here is disgusting.
We can't Field of Ruin somebody's basic.
I'm saying they get caught out with the basic, and then they just don't have any more in their deck, and they're like, shit, I'm just literally stone rained now.
They discarded it or whatever.
Right, it can happen. But I'm saying that's a ceiling, and that's an unlikely ceiling, but it's possible. But that's a play people make just as a basic land check. This card is going to get you that value regardless. And oh, by the way, it's a freaking 4/4 flyer, 4/5 flyer for 4.
For 4.
Let's go. Let's kind of go. You don't need to put this in a Dragon's deck. Subtly, there's a red mana dork as well. Can Big Red be a thing? I don't know, but this is a great bridge. If it is, man, I'm going to try to make it work so hard. Number 2, Kyle. Bing! I don't like it. I know you're not going to like it, but that Esper Bounce, Kyle, she a real deck, and she's about to get upgraded. Maybe even cut in the blue, because Sun Pearl Kieran is a card. If you don't know what this is, it's just another little unassuming uncommon. Flash 2/1 flyer. Hey, that's pretty cool. But it just says, do the bounce. Do the bounce thing, right? And now all of a sudden we're picking up Hopeless Nightmare on your turn. Uh-oh, that's nasty. Having that flexibility is so clutch. Being able to swing in for 2 out of nowhere is so clutch. We've seen how good Fear of Isolation is in that deck, but now you just basically get a strict, not literally a strictly better upgrade, but for most purposes, an upgrade to that card. This is immediately going in that deck, which is already a very competitive deck, and this just makes it better. You could, like I said, even potentially completely cut the blue for that deck and just go white black with that deck. This card is exactly what they want.
Yeah, I still think you need this town ain't big enough.
Probably.
That card, I don't think you can cut blue from that, but we already see plenty of people running the 3-color, and that card is, I cut it because I'm like, oh, it's just, this is easy. This card will be in some form or another in that deck, because it all comes down to the flash. Being able to bounce stuff on their turn, being able to pick up your Nowhere to Run and play that again at instant speed is just disgusting. This card is nasty. Yeah. It is absolutely nasty.
Hold up removal on turn 2, right? They don't play anything I want to remove. Turn 3 is, I put this guy down on your instep. I pick my guy up, and I don't know, maybe I'm dropping a two Hopeless Nightmares. It's just gonna get nasty.
Yeah. You pick up your Grim Bobble. You pick up your what is that Otter
Hopeless
enchantment?
Nightmare?
I forgot. No, your Otter enchantment. I forgot what it's called.
Oh yeah, Storm Chaser's Talent.
Yeah, Storm Chaser's Talent. You
That's
pick
a
up
pretty
your
good turn 3.
Hopeless Nightmare. All those things are just disgusting.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's nasty.
Bounce on 2 is great, but now you don't even have to telegraph it. Now you can just hold up removal. Like, That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Good. Okay, slightly hypocrite, Mark, because I said,
Please don't touch your mustache. It's so upsetting.
March is almost over, everyone.
Oh.
You know how I was like, oh yeah, that's so obviously gonna go in a deck. We don't even need to think about it. Holy shit, Mark.
I think I know what this is.
Elspeth Stormslayer, which is your number one, I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
It's my number two. This card is a house. It's got everything you need. It's got it's got a passive ability that bangs. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, create twice that many. That's dope. It can make tokens, which is a +1/+1 white soldier. Then
tokens.
You can just finish the game with its 0 ability, which I think is probably the most underrated mode on any Planeswalker this set, or out of the 6 modes. You put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and then all of them gain flying.
Yep.
Like, oh, sorry, just flew over your giant constructs, just ended the game. Just absolutely ended it. And then number 3 is removal when you need it, which is destroy target creature on opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. Like, it doesn't hit every permanent, doesn't hit every creature. Still very good for a -3. This is in the Caretaker's Talents day 1. This card is disgusting.
That card, like, that deck, I just finished laddering with that deck. Like, I was doing a little bit of grind on Boros Caretaker's Talents. So, you know, like a throwback from a couple of standards ago. Oh my god, that deck was so good, and this is going top end out of there for exactly the reason why you said. Just chuck a doubling season on there. Let's go. Just do that. Just boom, Panharmonicon it up. Create some soldiers. Like, every single line of individual text on this card is exactly what that deck wants, right? Like, I want more value. I want a body in a box. I want a freaking finisher, and I want some, I really got to remove this card right now, right? Like, yeah, the -3 is probably the worst thing on here, but when it saves you from getting, like, Atraxa to death, like, you're going to be happy you have it. And then you still got a 2-mana Loyalty Planeswalker just hanging out. God forbid you have, you know, like a thing that just auto-generates tokens cheaply, like maybe like a, you know, a carrot cake or something. Well, boom, now we just, you know, profit. Just profit. This looks disgusting.
And the +1 doesn't even say... The +1 doesn't even say create a 1/1 soldier token. It says create 2 of them.
Yeah,
like,
for all intents and purposes.
Because of the passive.
Yeah. Let me have Urbrask's Forge and this card out on the same time, and let's just scoop them up. Actually, just scoop them off, throw them in the trash. You're done playing Magic. This is cracked. They should not have... I'll call it right now. Yeah, I'm going to call it now. This is Wandering Emperor level Grown Test. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I don't think this card's catching a ban or anything exaggerant like that, but when people slap this card down in mono white, right, white control, we're not just talking about like cute little tokens or whatever. When people say 5 mana, everything flies, and I kill you right in your face, people are going to just, like, this is White Craterhoof in that sense, right? It's just like, and the game is over, right? Oh, my turn, you lose. That's it.
Yeah. You had 2 blockers and a removal spell. Doesn't matter. You lose.
And also, like, not for nothing, that doesn't say +1/+1 until end of turn. That's just value now. That's just +1/+1 counters up and down the board. You get to keep them. We're not just talking about janky combos. Like, obviously, there's some stuff that loves +1/+1 counters that this card does. Like, what doesn't this Planeswalker do? Cost 4 mana, I guess, is the only crime I think that Elspeth here is committing.
Oh. The middle ability doesn't even cost a loyalty.
Yeah.
Like,
it's cool.
It's... That should be a -1. I had to reread that. I'm like, you get that for free?
It starts on 5. You could leave this Planeswalker naked. You could leave this absolutely naked on turn 5, and there's decks that can't kill it down, right? Like, what? What?
Yeah, they could have a creature land over there, and you're like, I don't care. It'll still fine, you'll take it to 1. I don't care. I'll still 0 it or +1 at the next turn. Just, man, this is the card. The Planeswalkers in this set are it's interesting that they went back to 2.
Yeah, do you remember that? Do you remember when they said we're only gonna have 1 Planeswalker, and that lasted for like 3 sets, and now it's 2? I bet you Final Fantasy is gonna have 3, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what sells packs? Cracked walkers. Like, that's a good way to move some packs. So that break is over, in case anybody was concerned about that. This card is a Commander All-Star. It's going to be an absolute game role player in Standard. Like, this is... What's it selling at currently? It's listed at, like, $50.
Oh, my God.
Not surprised. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I'll be curious to see if it can work in older formats. It is expensive
Yeah.
for like Pioneer and Legacy, or Legacy, good
No
God,
promises.
Pioneer and like Modern. But
Commander nasty.
that the fact that it has a doubling season stapled to it is pretty good.
I saw
That's some
someone
abusable shit.
I saw someone on Reddit being like, it's actually good in Commander that this doesn't have an ultimate because it's not threatening. Because you know that whole weird vibe when everyone's like, kill the Planeswalker before it can ultimate. Right? You don't have to worry about little Elspeth. She's just doing her thing.
She's just fine.
She's just
gonna
thing.
zero ability and kill 2 players. It's fine.
She's just basically. Did she just? You know what I think happened? Flavor wise, she killed Elish Norn and took her shit. She's like, I make the tokens now.
For real. Yeah, and also it's interesting to note that the passive, we haven't talked about this yet, just says tokens. It doesn't say creature tokens.
Yeah, sure.
It just says tokens. Clue tokens, blood tokens, like treasure tokens, whatever. You just make 2 of them.
Under your control.
Damn.
Right? So it doesn't even hurt your, get lost or whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You don't even worry about it. Oh, you know what else?
It is a good
Fountain.
card.
Fountain Port looks pretty good with this card.
Fountain Port's, yeah. Yeah,
Just double value on like 2 modes of that card. God, I could just sit here and suck this card off the entire time. It's so good. You go. What could possibly be better than this?
Yeah, this is not a gamble. We are saying it here. This card will define Standard for the next 3 years. Speaking of defining Standard, Mark, poof, magic. Now we're tiny little heads. You can see the list here. We've got the categories of all the cards we've been picking for the past couple sets, all the way from meta defining to LOL bad. And I gotta say, we're pretty good at this, Mark. Having watched a bunch of other reviewers' channels, I would say our picks are, on the whole, pretty good as far as the very difficult, often covered in hindsight game of picking the cards that are going to define Standard. We're doing pretty good. But you can see at the bottom, like, sometimes we take some shots because we think it's funny.
Well,
look at you, Sunspire Links.
Some swings. Actually, Sunspire Links is not close to your worst pick. That's actually seeing some. I would actually put that into edge case because it's a sideboard card now.
I'm going to, because I've seen it in MTGO leagues enough times where I'm like, this has got to be an edge case now.
It's a sideboard all-star, but a role player nonetheless. Looking at the cards, we're going to talk about Ether Drift here in just a second, but just a quick little addendums for 2 cards that I think need to bump up on my side. I'm going to make a case for Harvester of Misery to go up to good in multiple decks. Finally, this card is getting the love that it needs to get. It is nasty. It's great in the graveyard stuff. It's great in black decks like this deck. This card doing multiple things. Obviously, it hoses aggro in a way that makes us all happy. People are starting to come around on the old Harvester of Misery. Love that.
Anything else that you think needs to move up?
Goblins are a real deck now. This is going to say see some play. I'm going to take Goblin Bombardier, a critical player in that deck. The advent of House Squad Heavy turns those decks into a real nasty thing, even with silly little Krinko. And obviously flying and a Lord is great in that. So I'm going to say see some play because Goblins are a real threat now. They're not viable, but, we're getting there with Goblins.
I also have been seeing, for both of us, I don't think it's ready to move up, but I have seen Final Showdown cast on the arena for the first time.
Or it rotates. This card is coming. It's coming, Kyle.
That card's super good. And then also, I think Day of Judgment. I don't know if you're ready to move it up to good in multiple decks or see some play, but I have noticed a lot of people swapping out Sunfall for more Days of Judgment just to save. But we'll see how that goes. All right, on to Ether Drift. Mark, what was your number 5 card?
Marauding Mako. And I was really worried about this card, but it turns out, hey, Jeskai Oculus, they'll make some room just for the old Mako. This card is a role player in a honest-to-God actual deck. I'm going to say Marauding Mako sees some play. This card is actually a thing.
My number 5 card is a little bit similar, except I think it's a very, very, very important card in one deck. So I would say see some play because this card is an auto-include in all the Azorius artifact decks. People like this card does what you need it to do as far as a 3-mana removal spell, but it hasn't really bridged the gap outside of that deck, as opposed to one of my other picks, which I think is just like a tier below that, and I'll talk about that. But the 3-mana cost triggering Synthesizer, which is a messed up Magic card, probably says this card sees some play in that it's very good in one deck.
Yeah, and those decks are represented in the tournaments. There's 11 entries that contain Perilous Snare, so it is narrow, but it is welcome that it is just an artifact removal spell. You don't have a lot of those. Nobody gives, as I predicted, a hot shit about the +1/+1 counters, especially in a synthesizers deck. They're like literally not even, might as well not even be there. But yeah, artifact removal is kind of key. So I would say it kind of hovers that line between edge case and see some play. We'll see how it goes. There are
I would say
some
that
toys.
like it's like edge case is like it's a very fringe card in like a very memey deck or like a sideboard
Yeah,
card.
this is a real deck.
Whereas see some play is like this is a real deck where this is in the main board.
Yeah, I'd say that. Number 4 pick from Ether Drift. Sneaky as well. You're probably like, oh, no one plays Defend the Rider unless you've been playing that Gruul Aggro Best of 3 because, yeah, turns out this is a pretty good card in that deck. It's seen 16 entries. That's not everything, obviously. But this card doesn't really feature on Best of 1, but it is absolutely a big deal in Best of 3 to come
I've
in there.
I've seen it in Best of.
It's in Best of 1 some, but like, and it's not just a sideboard card. People absolutely pack this in the main deck. It is just everything that deck wants. Unfortunately, it's not where I want it to be, which is in a big green stompy, let me protect my Aganosaur Rex deck. But yeah, it's doing a role play. It's sees some plays. It's definitely not good in multiple decks like it is limited, but it is featured.
I had a dream, Mark. I had a dream.
Not even limited respects your dream, Kyle.
that Aether Drift would so here's I think I can be forgiven. I picked Kaladin, by the way, in that Aether Drift would support its primary mechanic, which is vehicles and going fast. But holy shit, is this card LOL bad. Mark alluded to it. Dude, you get this thing 10th pick and limited.
Nah.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, if you run out of toilet paper, you can use Kaladin. Hey,
dude, I think your win percentage will go up if you just put a basic land in your deck off
honestly,
color.
maybe. Like literally maybe.
It's so bad.
One person did agree with you, Kyle, and they actually did enter this into a tournament. You want to guess the record is? Just kidding. 0-4, you stupid fucker.
So bad.
So bad. I love the swing though. I love this card. It just is sick nasty. Like it should do the thing, but it just can't. And it's mostly just eclipsed because why would you Boros that way when you could Boros a different way? Right, and that's really all there is.
And vehicles like that, like
Bad.
the vehicles just aren't good enough. And then the mounts, you don't want to be in Boros for mounts anyway. In the somewhat Selesnya mounts deck that sometimes comes together, like it's bad. It's just a bad card.
Yeah, it's too bad. This is where I also take a dip. My number 3 pick was Diversion Unit. It is not seeing hardly any play at all. I did see a Power Dragon shout out specifically to this card. And I love this card. I've used it in those artifact decks. Like, it's pretty good. It just blots sweepers out until you can win the game, but nobody's playing this card. It is LOL bad. There's just, it's just a tight list in those, synthesizer decks, and this card just is not making the cut. It's not pulling its weight currently. I don't even know if this is like people are sleeping on it, if it's just maybe just been eclipsed by other alternatives, but damn, it feels just like Malevolent Hermit. Like, I feel like people are missing on this card. And it could really do something, but it might
Of note, though, in those low to the ground aggro deck, it's really hard to hold up a mana. Like, you really want to be curving out. And, like, on turn 4, you want to be double spelling. So you're going to play 1/2 drop and hold that up. Like, it's just really difficult. And that ends up, I think, hurting the card a lot. When you want to go fast and you want to attack with a bunch of low, as opposed to like the repurposing unit synthesizer deck, which is more steady, but you don't need that effect. And it just ended up not working out. I don't mind Aganosaurus Rex being in LOL bad because I think
probably
what is it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's LOL.
4 decks in tournaments, but yeah.
No, I think we can put this in LOL bad, but I fully expect this card to get up to at least to see some play by the time it rotates out in 2.5 years or whatever. This card is just too good. It does what you need it to do, and this mid-range green effect can't be in the basement for this long. Some stuff is going to come along to make it good,
Kyle,
and this card just needs to stay in the sun.
It would need like, I don't know, some legendary green finisher to just come off the the back lot and just put a boot in a hoof in everyone's ass. Like, could you imagine?
Like a crater sized
like
hoof?
A crater sized hoof. I think that Aganosaurus Rex might ride that buffalo or
Yeah.
whatever.
Also, if you were screaming at your computer earlier, like, why didn't you guys pick Crater Hoof? We know. Everybody knows that
Yeah.
card's going to be good.
I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna define standard. I wouldn't swap it out.
No, I don't think it'll be. I don't think it's going to get banned or whatever, but I think it's going to, like, whether it's a meme or a dream, that card's showing up. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like, Crater Hoof might be the thing to take Aganosaurus Rex out of the yield dungeon, but something will. Something will, because this card is, like, the one universal, there's, like, universal truths to Magic, mana value being one of them, but flexibility, I think, being another key pillar of a card being good. And this card has flexibility out of its little green butthole, and it's going to be good one day. But for now, LOL bad.
It does have keyword big on it. Keyword large
it does.
on this dinosaur.
It does.
The frog mama, she trapped me, Kyle. She trapped me so good.
She suffocated in her
Sam
big old thighs.
Oh God, I don't. If she's wrong, I don't want to be right, Kyle. The good news is she was featured in 5 tournament decks. The bad news is they all had terrible records.
Yeah, those are just perverts.
Powerful.
You cornered the market on the pervert.
I'm with the furries, I guess, or whatever. There's got to be. I don't. If you know what the amphibian thing is in the comments, don't tell me. I want this card to be good.
Slimies?
You Google it.
No, I'm not Googling it.
You Google it. It's fine.
I assume you already have it Googled.
Yeah,
he knows, everybody.
Research.
You see how he's coyly pretending not to know? He knows.
For research, I did it. Oh God, Kyle, this card is so good. I love this card. We obviously built a deck with it on the channel.
At least your Aether Drift rare legendary was good and limited.
It was. It was so good. I think at the high point it was 72% win rate game in hand. Like, it was just like absolutely get wrecked.
I like spilled my cards, and this card ended up on the table, so I win the
Guess
game.
I win now. Yeah, the other 28% of people just shit their pants and had to leave F&M. This card is dumb, and I will never give up on my disgusting Simic value engines. But on the control side, or there's other bombier things you can do, believe it or not, in standard right now. And on the aggro side, people are just getting way up under this card, and it's just not having it. So, yeah, unfortunately, even if especially if control actually enters the chat, then this card is even less likely to be relevant with all their exile removal and counter spells and such. But man, I'm never gonna give up on Sabsunin.
It's a total color pie break. But like, if this card had lifelink, that's what it needed. But you just like go around this card, and you're like, I just died.
You can do it.
My number 2 card is very similar to your thoughts on Diversion Unit. It's Metacant, Guidelike Core. It's LOL bad.
Yeah,
I would say.
It's a Metacant, not a Metacan.
Yeah.
Been
And
waiting
it basically
for a
boils
month
down
to do that.
Thank you. And that it's okay, Mark, with your fucking Diversion Unit. This card's better than Diversion Unit.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
This card's as people who have played it. When this card pops off, it's disgusting. Copying your perilous snares and all that. The both Diversion Unit and Metacant suffer from a weird effect in that they're not 3 mana. Like if you're a blue-white artifact, you need to be 3 mana in the shell in the home for this, and the Azorius artifact aggro deck just isn't as effective as Gruul or Boros right now. So just play that.
Well,
so where does this card go?
The other problem with the start your engines thing is the very best you can do with this card is in that deck. It's highly unlikely you're going to be able to attack on turn 2. So like you're not really going to get to 2 speed.
It's not highly unlikely. You got all kinds of 1-drops.
I mean, maybe. Okay, let's say some of the time, right? We can argue about the percentage or whatever, but like, okay, even then, best case scenario, you're not getting to max speed till like what, turn 4, right? And then you have to have the mana to then profit from this. And those decks are either so aggro they're like Michikoing you to death. Obviously, they don't have that card anymore. Or they've synthesized there's like 5 10-10s, and I guess you lose. Like, where does this copy ability get the chance to shine? It didn't even really do it in limited, right? Like it's hard to make that work. And this card is just, it's not quite there. 5 people did try it, right? There is things to do here, but I think even in its home, right, as the lore goes, the Metacants are lost in space or whatever, even in its home in Azorius artifacts, I don't think it's ever going to find a spot because it's just tight. It's tight in there.
Yeah. We would need some more low to the ground Azorius aggro
or
tech to
the other end, right? Like a control artifact deck.
Something that's good to copy. Yeah, but you can't play the decks just aren't set up these days to have like one value creature. They're just gonna remove it.
Yeah.
You have to overwhelm their removal, and just copying one big artifact is not gonna do it.
Reminds me of that Zach Brannigan meme. I just sent wave after wave of mid at their removal suite until they just ran out of cards, and I guess we won. But Kyle, there is a god, and that god has a dog head, not a frog head. Ketramos is a card. It is being experimented with more, I think, than any other card. People see its raw value potential, whether it's roots, whether it's just Orzhov control. Don't get me started on what this card has done to Modern. Oh no, yikes. Yeah. But even in Standard, it's like slowly trying to find a spot. But I would say best case, we put this at edge case, because it's not really...
No,
you think multiple
I would say see some play. Honestly, already.
But okay, yes, in terms of diversity, this is like one of the most represented cards in any of these lists. But
for win rate and raw power.
Yeah, has it really broken through in any way? Like, people are experimenting nonstop with this card, but I don't really think we've seen a... Like, if I was to say, what's the Ketramos deck? What do you even say? Right? Like,
roots, probably.
Yeah, roots, but that's not it, right? So it's like, there's a just generically cracked in half Magic card here, but no one knows what to do with it, or we haven't had the supplemental cards. This will be, I think, meta defining at some point. Like, that's just how rawly powerful this card is, but the day has not yet come. So I would say edge case in experimental mode.
All right, well, thank you guys. We appreciate you grading all of our picks.
Hey, and it's not as bad as you think. Really not.
Did somebody play Boom Mobile?
8 decks actually featured Boom Mobile. I would say this sees some... I would say edge case. Edge case Boom Mobile.
Who the shit is playing Boom Mobile?
People that are trying to do dumb things with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I knew that. Okay, we can put it in edge cases with the links. I still think this card is fucking cracked, though. There will be a day, goddammit, where Boom Mobile will be a bannable broken combo in some format. It is nasty. For those of you who saw our Roxanne deck, when you start triple doppelganging this thing, you're just like, okay, I'll win. Like,
the tournament decks don't even do the doppelgang thing. Like, it's just classic. I'm seeing a lot in is it artifacts or is it control, right? Those things. It's just a generically nasty card when you're just like, oh, I'm just getting mana and killing creatures, and now I've just got this beat stick hanging out here for me to turn and tap you and smack you next turn. Like, it's just a powerful card. It's without a home, though.
The raw, disgusting potential of, like, the infinite mana, infinite damage loop. Well, we don't have the pieces in that for Standard. The thing that could make it... There are cards to be printed that may or may not get printed that will make this card a meta-defining bannable card. Will that happen? I doubt it. There's very limited, narrow potential, but it's possible. Yeah. But this card needs the enablers to be meta-defining, to be bannable. But when you just read the card, you're like, oh no. This card... Like, there's no way to break... Like, look at the other cards on this list. Like, Shoot the Sheriff, Avian Interrupter, Dust Animus. There's no way to break those cards.
Well...
When you look at Boom Mobile, you're like, this could be broken. Well, we can break this.
I would put it like the Ketramos thing, where it's like... It's just to a smaller experimental stage, but like it is a card where if it does break through, right, for the reasons you identified, it will define the meta, right? Like if this card gets its opening, it will break everything up. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, right? But more than any other card on this list, I think the idea of generating mana for free. When have we gotten in trouble in the past? Fires of Invention remind anybody of anything? Like, when you start casting stuff for free, when you start violating the fundamental speed limits of Magic, that's when shit goes sideways. And so Boom Mobile absolutely can do that. It just doesn't really have a home yet, but it might find it. So I'm actually, this is not an LOL bad card. Like, this is just a we'll see card, right? Especially in the Standard.
The fact that it has melee results at all makes me so happy for my fellow Magic players.
Yeah,
just get out there and brew some shit.
With 1,000,000 billion cards coming in Standard.
And stop reanimating Omniscience, you bitches. God damn it.
You don't tell me
Get here, Tarkir.
Somebody from Final Fantasy is going to ride this bicycle? You don't tell me no one?
Oh, Cloud, get on the bike.
I think. Like, let's have it.
Get on the bike, Cloud.
Okay, well, that's the end of this section.
It's my favorite video.
I did want to get a chance just to talk about, this is like our wrap up for Ether Drift, right? Final thoughts. We were moaning a little bit about the story and stuff like that, but let's just have it out. you can go if you want, but I just want to say my piece about Ether Drift and talk to you about it. What'd you think, Kyle?
It was bad, dude.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
What was bad about it?
I think that vehicles fundamentally are a flawed mechanic. I think that they don't work well
Did you do
with
that on
the
purpose?
base game. Do what?
Mechanic vehicles?
Yeah. It's a bad purpose mechanic. I don't think they work well. I think that for the Aether Drift designers, they had to jump out of their butts to try to make as many vehicles not act like a vehicle as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, from a like, I guess the most damning thing, right? Because I'm one of those people that like, I'm not gonna read the Magic novels, but the evocative nature of the cards is cool to me. Like when I see them, I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like when you see like a Traxxas Fall with like the big girder through a chest, you're like, oh, that's fucking rad. Like that's
Metal.
cool. Like name one of the Did you guys know there were 10 racing teams in the Aether Drift? What? Name one of them.
Keen Haulers.
Like holy shit.
Is it?
Huh?
Keen
Yeah.
Haulers. The Brood Golgari.
Yeah.
Now ask me if I give a shit about any of them. I don't know.
No flavor, just nothing going on. Pretty overall, I would say like it didn't really make it. Did it make any decks? I don't think it made any decks.
See, that's the problem is like I expected that from Foundation because it's a core set. I am really happy with the way our picks actually turned out this time. Like we did a lot better, I think, overall. But like look at where these cards landed. They're all kind of in that middle stratosphere, right? Nothing really jumped up to like shake up the meta. Now it's only been like 6 weeks, right? This is a pretty short set in the grand scheme of things. But I think we could have this standard for another 6 months, and I don't think things would change that much, especially compared to the disgusting power level that's about to come out in Tarkir. I'm not a Vorthos, right? But I do like the story, and much has been made of the hat sets. I know, I get it. I don't have anything new to add or shit talk about the hat sets, but I do think it's silly. And I'm actually thinking, hopefully, the amount of pushback we've gotten, not just for Ether Drift, but for Murders at Markov Manor and for OTJ, I think
Karlov.
I
who
don't care.
cares?
I think we're done with the hat sets. Like, I think if they could have changed this to not be a hat set, they would have. But obviously, the production timeline is far too out. If we see another hat set, it will be, I think, greatly reduced. I know there's Outer Space coming, but like even now, I'm more optimistic about that than I am about any of the three that preceded it. Yeah. Not good gameplay. Limited also. Can I just do a little soapbox on Limited? Sucked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Like when it was good, it was good, but when it was good, it was green, and you just had to get on that, and that was really unfortunate. I don't love that.
Yeah, I think if you're not a limited player, it just speaks to like a bunch of the base mechanics of this set just didn't work.
Exhaust was rad as shit though. That was
Exhaust
a win.
was great. Exhaust was good, but there was never really a cycling deck that came together. There was never a vehicles deck that came together. Mounts, even after coupling those with OTJ, that didn't come together. So it's just like a bunch of random cards that like maybe a tier deck. Like, okay, cool, we'll use Repurposing Bay in this artifacts deck we were already building. And that just doesn't make anything really hype. It makes everything feel samey. And then the final piece I would say is like, yeah, I don't know if the hat stuff is going to stop. I think it's probably more likely to happen as we cram more sets into the calendar year. But like the hype for Tarkir is high. Seeing like, I'm not a big, like, I love Innistrad, but I was never the biggest Crimson Wedding / Werewolf one because it didn't feel like Innistrad. Like looking at the cards, this feels like Tarkir.
Yes,
this
it
feels
does.
like the clans. But it's not just it's not a regurgitation of it.
And an evolution.
It is very, yeah. This is like, oh, yeah, dude. Like
Not
what's
just
going on in
the
Tarkir?
story, but like in the story, spotlight cards like, oh, I guess Sidisi's a zombie now. I guess she doesn't lead the soul tie, right? But like you look at some of the cards and it's like there's changes here, right? There's like some subtle changes in their play patterns, in what they're trying to do. Like you said, it really, in the same way that Foundations felt like a love letter to Magic, this feels like a love letter, but not like in a nostalgia bomb kind of way. In like a, oh shit, this is some real Magic, put it in my veins. And as we sort of
like the Abzan cards feel like Abzan
Yeah.
cards. The Mardu cards, I'm like, yeah, this is what the Mardu clan does. This
and
is
it doesn't
Mardu.
hurt that we're reading about kin trees and shit. Like that's cool too. I love that. I absolutely love that. And like I said, I'm not buying any books. I'm not
Well, you can't buy. I mean, they just do the online stories now, but you get it.
Yeah, I'm not reading those even, but I still like it. I like it when they're not dumb to look at. Like, I feel like when I see Fibblethip with a cowboy hat on, I'm like trying to cover my shit up. Like, don't look. Like, don't see what I'm doing. And I will feel that way when people come over and watch me play with my Spider-Man swings into Sephiroth situation. I don't know, Kyle. I really don't know about that. We'll see. I guess we'll see.
Tarkir on the horizon. Things look bright. I'm going to pre-release on Friday. Looks dope as shit. I can't wait to just get our double dragons on. It's going to be tight. And then if we messed up any picks, if you disagree with our grading, if there's a card from Tarkir where you're like, you fucking numbskulls, why didn't you pick this card? Let us know in the comment section. We respond to every single comment. If you stayed this long, you are a real one. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and we will see you guys. We'll probably have like a video or two coming out before Tarkir, just kind of to grease the skids, get back into it. But we're really, really excited about playing with some cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Had some ballpark nachos last night, and those greased the skids pretty good, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I had some Nashville hot chicken. They also greased the old skids about 3:30 in the morning.
Same, dude. Oh, it was 1:30. We were on the toilet at the same time.